former
It's so
president.
fascinating just to even watch them all sitting there. You saw Bill and Hillary Clinton coming in finally. We'll see President Biden make his way. A lot of chatting between President Barack Obama and President-elect President Donald Trump as well. It just
And a laugh.
And a lot of laughs. I mean, there were several of. I mean, they're still chatting. Yeah, probably more words than they've ever
See
had.
the vice president's right behind
I
him.
think that picture there, I think there was a lot of commentary about that. I'd be curious to see, how the, not just the media, but even social media treats this moment.
Yeah.
But it also, I'm sorry, go ahead. But as Rick was saying, if we look at that picture though, that picture could point to a place where we can come together in ways that people just wouldn't believe. They haven't stopped talking since they sat next to each other. And I think former President Trump initiated.
Yeah, he continues to. Yeah.
And maybe something that's just nothing to do with politics. We do have, I saw Dan Quayle, Al Gore, Mike Pence. President Clinton, by the way, just out of the hospital after a bout with the flu. Vice President Kamala Harris. And the first gentleman, Doug Emhoff, coming in there. We talked about Jimmy Carter basically remaining apolitical, though he did make one comment that he wanted to live long enough to vote in this last election, and that he certainly did.
So we're less than 3 minutes from the beginning of this funeral. We know that likely very soon, if not already, Carter's remains will be carried into the cathedral. That will be a brief arrival ceremony, and then the goal is to kick off the national funeral service at 10 o'clock.
I do have to believe that since the Vice President just walked into the room, that President Biden should be arriving very shortly. They are right on schedule at this point. And again, interesting to note that President-elect and President Obama are still chatting, and the others remain.
The dynamics are interesting. For example, Bill Clinton defeated George Bush Sr., the dad, in a hard-fought campaign. But after that, they became great friends and a great relationship between the Bushes and the Clintons. You certainly see on that road that Donald Trump, of course, had run against Hillary Clinton. There she is. And then, of course, you're going to see, and there's Kamala Harris. I think it may take a little bit of time to travel that similar path. But you have to believe that it's both quite a picture, but also got its own awkwardness to it. But I think it's helpful to have this moment, and it's kind of interesting and refreshing to see Barack Obama and Donald Trump in sort of non-stop conversation.
Yes.
The two of them side by side.
And of course, Kamala Harris just a couple of short days ago in a very had to be awkward position of certifying the election results, and the January 6th of this year much more peaceful when it came to the transition of power than it was a number of years ago. And that is very good for this nation's democracy.
I think the country needs this right now. I think it's extremely important to see these images. Coming out of the election season, it was extremely good. This is extremely helpful, I think. It's nothing more than optics. I think it's President Obama talking to Mike Pence.
Like that?
I mean, the power in this room, the decision making that's been made just in their careers, you just can't take your eyes off of it, because they all have their own secrets. They all have their own experiences with each other, but in this moment, very solemn, very respectful, and their mind is truly on Jimmy Carter and remembering him and honoring him. And I think they recognize, too, that is the focus today.
And you know what, we sometimes forget that they do have their personal lives, too. They're not just political figures. They have lives outside of whatever they did.
We rarely see them in this space, with their guards down, and just the camera continually trained on them.
Here comes the President of the United States and the First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden. He will be in the White House until January 20th, and as you know, peaceful transition of power has been very important to him. He has, in fact, invited Donald Trump to the White House on the day of transition, and he has promised to attend the inaugural. The thing's about to get underway, so let's just watch and listen and pay very close attention to the President's eulogy.